They really are in bad, bad shape. The Democrats, what are they going to do? Run on Joe Biden's record? Run on Joe Biden? Run on the world is a safer place, that America is somehow better off than it was 4 years ago? Everybody knows that none of that stuff is not true. And now Democrats really, really have nothing because they know all the arrests, the indictments, all that stuff, right? Well, it didn't work. I mean, they're still absorbing what has taken place over the past week and a half or so, right? Iowa, 51% for Donald Trump. New Hampshire, 54%, double-digit victory, okay? Now, you may have heard this little factoid that nobody has done this since Gerald Ford in 1976. He was actually president. He hadn't been elected president. He became president because Nixon resigned and he was the vice president. But he wasn't under indictment, okay? He hadn't been arrested in the previous couple of months, and Donald Trump was. So, you know what it is? A miracle. I've always said that Donald Trump could win, but it would be something of a miracle. I also pointed out that miracles have a way of following this man around, and we're seeing it. All right, so what else is there to say about last night that hasn't been said? I noticed this. When Donald Trump is on the stage, when it is his moment after a hard-fought victory, he makes it our moment. He actually shares the spotlight. Nobody else does this.
I'd like you to say a few words about the border and who's going to solve that problem and how quick are we going to do it, Tom? Go ahead, please. I said, Vivek, go up and say a few words about it. Vivek, 1 minute or less. Go do it, Vivek. Do you want to say something? Come on, come on. I want him to say something.
Well, he's not a politician, and politicians don't do this. They don't, after all the money, after running, after all the names on the posters, let it be about somebody else. And he doesn't. And he watches them speak, and he soaks it in, and he's okay with that because it's the opposite of what the fake news tells us about Donald Trump, right? Again and again, narcissist, what is his problem? Yeah, he lacks self-esteem. Have you ever heard them say this?
Life can never, ever give him what he wants, his insecurity being so profoundly deep and permanent.
Trump's deep insecurity, of course, is one of his many off-putting qualities.
And you had Trump, who was as insecure a person as Kelly had ever seen.
Talk about an insecurity. This is not what real men need to do.
No. Talk about a lie. Talk about mythology. You want to see insecurity? Politicians, when it's their turn, they don't share with anybody. And I don't care who you're talking about. Obama, no matter what he won, for example, Iowa, just him. Hillary in New Hampshire, just her. Mitt Romney, throughout his life, especially Arizona, just him, and every other race. And Nikki Haley last night, just her. This made an impression on me first, and you could say this is a little thing. I think it's a big thing, and this raises a lot of questions. In 2016, Donald Trump wins the presidency, right? Shocks the world. And it was the same old Donald Trump. He didn't seem at all kind of blown away or awe-stricken. And he shared the spotlight.
Reince is really a star. And he is the hardest working guy. And in a certain way, I did this. Reince, come up here. Where is Reince? Get over here, Reince. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. It's about time you did this, right? Huh? My guy. Yeah, say a few words. Come on. Say something.
Ladies and gentlemen, the next president of the United States, Donald Trump. Thank you. It's been an honor. God bless. Thank God. You bet.
Amazing guy.
Beautiful moment. President-elect Trump thanking a guy who helped make it happen. What's wrong with that? Well, according to the fake news, everything. There will be a reckoning for the fake news someday. I mean, it's already happened for us, but they'll have to answer for this. May happen a century from now, may happen in November, but the fake news, you know, the New York Times, they ignored the Holocaust. We all saw what just happened. I want to show you a guy named Mark Leibovich, okay? He wrote for the Times for a while. He writes books, writes magazines, and the fake news thinks that this guy is a truth teller. Well, he wrote a book about Trump and about what we just saw that night. You want to see his summary? He actually put this in a book, and it was published. Total lies. Trump ordered Priebus up to the microphone. Reince shook his head, but Trump insisted, and Priebus did as he was told. This was classic Trump, a bizarre, spontaneous gesture that had the added benefit of debasing someone. After Priebus arrived at the lectern, Trump added a final humiliating touch and made him speak. Say a few words, Reince. Priebus's eyes bulged as Trump shoved him to the microphone. Ladies and gentlemen, the next president of the United States, Priebus managed to say. Thank you. It's been an honor, he added. His words were mildly slurred, understandable given what Reince had been through. Priebus coughed out a few garbled God blesses and thank gods before fleeing the mic, as if it were in flames. Now that's Harry Potter kind of fantasy stuff right there. Leibovich, remember that name. They write books. They report for the Times. They lie on television all the time. It is amazing, and I wonder why they do what they do. I mean, didn't they go into journalism to tell the truth? I guess not. I guess not. All right. Now this.
New Hampshire is first in the nation. It is not the last in the nation. This race is far from over. There are dozens of states left to go. And the next one is my sweet state of South Carolina.
Not only is she phony, the people in the crowd are phony. Woo! Nobody's excited for real. Maybe Nikki is because she senses more opportunity. The situation is this. Nikki is not so sweet, all right? Not so sweet, and she's in for, I don't know what she's in for. Maybe she's in for more money. She's done well so far. The word is when she left the United Nations, she was worth about $100,000. More recently, she's worth about $8 million. And that job at the United Nations is pretty much phony in a way, phony. I know that from her boss, Mike Pompeo, the former Secretary of State who briefly ran for president. There they are in, I want to say happier times, but Nikki does not look happy. As UN ambassador, she reported to Mike Pompeo, the Secretary of State. I got his book today. I downloaded it and looked for Nikki Haley in the index, and sure enough, she's in there. A lot. Want to see what he thinks about her? Well, while she spun her exit well in the press, Haley flat out threw in the towel after 2 years at the UN as the UN ambassador to the United Nations, a job that is far less important than people think. She has described her role as going toe-to-toe with tyrants. If true, then why would she quit such an important job at such an important time with at least 2 years to go? She abandoned the governorship of the great people of South Carolina for this important role and quit it after just months on the job? Was it simply to join Boeing's board of directors, or did she leave to protect her reputation from the inevitable so-called Trump taint the media inevitably slaps on people? Whatever the reason, her decision to quit after such a short time did not evince a commitment to team over self. And then there was this. She was scheming for a bigger job in the Trump administration and lying to people about it. According to the Secretary of State, she insisted that she needed to see the president about a personal matter and that it had nothing to do with her work at the United Nations or for the State Department. It turns out she had not gone in for a personal matter, but rather had entered the Oval Office presenting a possible Haley for vice president option. Clearly, this visit did not reflect a team effort, but undermined our work for America. I may have my differences, with Mike Pompeo, but I think he took America's national security very, very seriously, and she wasn't helping. I think people should know about that, especially in South Carolina. And they should know about this in South Carolina and beyond. You know, Nikki has written a couple of books. She's younger than me. She's already written 3 books about herself. Okay, whatever. Can't is not an option. This time I got the audiobook version, and she reads it herself about the town and state she grew up in.
Over time, that town, Bamberg, adopted us as its own. It was a place where I saw firsthand neighbors helping neighbors. I saw the power and the goodness of people doing for one another in good times and bad. Bamberg was a town of faith, values, and patriotism, a town that supported and comforted us when my brother was deployed and fought in the Persian Gulf War.
Bless your heart. What was it really like, Nikki?
We were the only Indian family in our small southern town. I was teased every day for being brown. So anyone that wants to question it can go back and look at what I've said on how hard it was to grow up in the deep South as a brown girl.
Okay, didn't happen every day like she said. Yeah, it happened, but I don't know. I think there's something disconnected from reality about her. Also in the book, she talks about, guess what? She advanced ahead of her class from the 2nd grade to the 3rd grade. I could see talking about graduating from college at 14 or something like that, but to the 2nd grade to the 3rd grade, whatever. That's what I say about Nikki Haley. Whatever.